All right, 8th grade, here's your second grammar page for the week, and we have proper adjectives. Okay, so we've already done proper nouns, all right? So, if you remember with proper nouns, they are nouns that are specific, and they always start with a capital letter. So proper adjectives, same thing. They're specific. They start with a capital letter always, but it is modifying a noun. And a lot of times they are formed off of proper nouns. So instead of America, we have American flag. Instead of Alaska, Alaskan salmon. Instead of Susan, we have that apostrophe S added, and it's telling you Susan's whose recipe. So that's what you're finding in this exercise. So if you are marking something, it's got to be capitalized. Remember, all you're marking are proper nouns and proper adjectives. So it has to be capitalized if you're going to mark it. Also remember, the first word in every sentence is always going to be capitalized. So for you, you have to think, if I used it in the middle of a sentence, would it be capitalized or not? Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, if you look at your directions, again, you're marking proper nouns and proper adjectives. So if it's a proper noun, you'll underline it. If it's a proper adjective, you will circle it. So let's do half of these. Our first sentence, Tally visited the Roman capital when she was in Italy. So let's go through and find our nouns first. So if we look at the beginning, Tally is a name. It would be capitalized if I used it in here, her name, in the middle of the sentence. So I'm going to underline that. Is there any other proper noun? Let's look at Italy. It's a place. It's not modifying anything. Oops. So I'm going to underline that. All right, we have one more word in there, that's proper. It's capitalized. It's Roman, okay? So Roman is telling you what kind of or whose capital. So it's proper. It's an adjective. I'm going to circle it. Number 2, do you think Jason prefers Italian pasta or American hamburgers? So we've got Jason capitalized there. It's a name. So I'm going to underline that as a noun. Italian is telling you what kind of pasta. So I'm going to circle that as a proper adjective. And then American with an N on the end is telling you what kind of hamburgers. So I'm going to circle that. Number 3, Grandma Moses, the well-known American artist, is best remembered for her nostalgic folk paintings. All right, we're going with Grandma Moses. It's a name, so that's a noun. We're going to underline it. And then our last proper word is American. It's telling you what kind of artist, so it's an adjective, and I'll circle it. Number 4, Mr. and Mrs. Caudle went on an Alaskan cruise last June. So we're starting off with the names here. If it's a name, no apostrophe S, we got the noun. And then we have Alaskan that's capitalized. So that N on the end is telling you what kind of cruise. So I'm going to circle it. Sorry, y'all. This is why I don't use pencils. And then our last one is June. It's a month. It's a thing. It's a noun. We underline. Number 5. The Shakespearean tragedy Othello deals with the themes of jealousy and revenge. So we're going to start with Shakespearean. That A-N on the end is telling you what kind of tragedy. So it's an adjective. And then we have Othello. So it's italicized, it's a title, it's a thing. We underline. Couple more. Number 6. Canadian butter tarts are a specialty item at the Spotted Cow Cafe. So I'm going to look at Canadian here. Yes, it's the very first word, but if I used it in the middle of my sentence, I'd still capitalize it. But it's modifying what kind of tarts. So adjective it is. And then the only other thing that's capitalized is the Spotted Cow Cafe. It's a place, so it's a noun, and I underline it. I'll do one more because it's a longer one. Number 7, Sue Smith and her friend Melody were excited to act out the parts of bored American tourists in Europe in an adaptation of Mark Twain's Innocents Abroad. Several things in here. So let's start at the beginning. We got a couple of names here with no apostrophe S on the end. So we know they're nouns. So we're going to underline them. And then our next capitalized word is American. So American is telling you what kind of tourist. So we're circling that. Our next capitalized word is Europe. So here it's a place. So that's a noun. And we're going to underline it. And then our next capitalized word is Mark Twain's. Well, Mark Twain is an author, so normally that would be a noun, but here we have our apostrophe S, which changes it to an adjective, because it's telling you whose. So we're going to circle that. And our last thing we have here that's capitalized is Innocents Abroad. Okay, so we know it's a work, it's a thing, and we underline it. So again, look for your capitalized words and differentiate between a noun. Is it a person, place, thing, idea? Or is it an adjective, and is it modifying another noun or pronoun? And that's your second page for the week, y'all.